Welcome back to my channel. There has been some news items that have come out in the last few days, and I thought I would make a video on it because any news is good news for this time of year. So let's get into it. First, let's start off with some signings. Matthew Schaefer, who was drafted by the New York Islanders first overall in this past draft, has signed his entry-level contract, or his ELC, and that means that he will not be able to go to college. So it's either NHL or OHL, and so there is a little bit of discussions that will have to go on between Schaefer's camp and the Islanders camp to see if he goes back to the OHL or if he just sticks it out in the NHL. And then does he end up going to the World Juniors? This makes it a little bit more iffy of if he's gonna go or not. However, we will have to wait and see. So good for him for signing his entry-level contract. Next, there were no players or teams that went to arbitration. So all of the people that I covered in my arbitration video were able to get a contract done, and I will touch on two of those people. Jaden Struble of the Montreal Canadiens signs a 2-year contract with an AAV of 1.4125 million. So he's a defenseman. He's gonna probably be in and out of the lineup. Him and Arbor Jackeye in the defense corps probably gonna be switching spots a lot. So a good value contract for the Montreal Canadiens, just so they don't have a bunch of money tied up in him, so they can do what they want. Next, Nicholas Robertson, who is of the Toronto Maple Leafs. He signed a 1-year contract valued at $1.825 million, and there is a lot of questions around him, if he's gonna get traded, if he's gonna continue signing these 1-year, 2-year contracts until it gets to an unrestricted free agent. So we will have to wait and see what Nicholas Robertson does for the Toronto Maple Leafs forward group. With Mitch Marner now off the team, there is a bigger hole for multiple players to possibly fill. I'm not saying that he's going to be top line, but someone may fill in on that top line, and that gives him an opportunity to be on the second line or on the third line. So there are some opportunities for the Toronto's forward group. Now, going away from signings, I've got two little things to talk about. First, Matthew Tkachuk. Yesterday it was announced that he is the 2026 EA cover athlete. If you don't know what that is, EA, or Electronic Arts, is a video game developer company, and they produce games all the way from like RPGs and first-person shooters to sports games. And so it's been announced that he will be on the 2026 NHL game. So good for him. I know that there was a little bit of discourse of people being unhappy about it and how it should have been like Johnny Gaudreau or someone like that. I'm not going to give my opinion because I think it's all very opinionated and subjective. So I'm just going to say good for him for getting the nod to be on the cover. And we'll see if the curse of being on the NHL cover happens again this year. So good for him. Now, my last point, Jimmy Vesey signs in the Swiss League for 2 years. He has had an interesting ride throughout his career. He was a New York Ranger, and then he was a Canuck, then a Toronto Maple Leaf, then a Colorado Avalanche, and he found himself back in New York in that time as well. So he's been in a few places. However, he has made the decision to leave the National Hockey League and go over to the Swiss League, and we will see what happens from there. Maybe in a few years he gets another shot in the NHL. However, I don't see that as likely. When I was looking at some of his stats and some of his accomplishments, he was the Hobey Baker winner in 2016. So, I mean, a nice accolade for him in his career. So, that is that. Good luck. I hope he does well. And that will bring me to the end of the video. Thanks for watching. Comment, let me know what you think of all of these little news items that I covered today. And like the video to let YouTube know that you like these videos and would like to see more of me on your feed. And so YouTube knows that this is a good video and that more people should watch it. And then subscribe to help me further with that. So thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one.